Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani and this bulletin is being broadcast live on YouTube. You can watch the replay afterwards. Let's begin with financial matters. Banking institutions in West Africa have been tasked to effectively collaborate and chart a pragmatic course towards tackling economic challenges confronting the sub-region. President Muhammadu Buhari threw the challenge while granting audience to the executive members of the West African Bankers Association. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Founded in 1981, the West African Bankers Association is the umbrella body of more than 250 banks and 15 institutions across West Africa. President Muhammadu Buhari said the sub-region must find a common understanding and ground to address low access to financial services and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. He noted that for many centuries, African countries have traded with one another without a formalized and structured system, even when global trade has become more complex and organized. The Nigerian leader, however, expressed confidence that the rollout of the African Continental Free Trade Area would be a turning point in how African countries trade with each other. As he put it, during the closed-door engagement, we will turn the page by deepening and expanding our industrial capabilities, export less of what we have been endowed with, and convert larger portions of these resources into finished materials. He declared that the ability of the sub-region to overcome the current phase of its development lies in the resolve by all to work jointly via the regional and sub-regional organizations and reach a common understanding to fight against a common enemy. On the ongoing efforts to synchronize monetary and fiscal policies through WABA, the President challenged the association to work towards finding a common ground despite the unique macroeconomic challenges that each member state faces. He pledged that Nigeria will always be ready to support efforts that are geared towards improving the lives of all its citizens. Earlier, the WABA President, Thiamo Saidu Nuru, lauded the lead role Nigeria plays in African economy. He made a case for President Muhammadu Buhari to be an advocate for greater inclusion for WABA in ECOWAS structure, noting that one of the challenges with the banking system is capacity building, urging Nigeria to set up a training academy for the industry. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee has raised the monetary policy rate to 13%, a first in 2.5 years. The governor of the central bank, Godwin Emefiele, while presenting the outcome of the meeting, noted that the bank would continue to keep rates for development finance at single digit for up to 10 years. Liakatong Babatunde reports.
The changing dynamics in the global economy has continued to affect the journey to recovery. The war between Russia and Ukraine, supply chains disruptions, increasing inflation and debt levels, as well as rising energy demands are some of the factors affecting monetary policy makers' decisions around the world. While Nigeria sees a sustained growth trajectory since the recovery from COVID-induced recession, the Monetary Policy Committee found it necessary to increase the monetary policy rate to 13% and retain all other parameters.
MPC feels compelled that tightening would help moderate the inflationary trade-off from the steady growth recovery so far recorded and improve real GDP. MPC also feels that tightening would help rein in inflation before it assumes a galloping trend.
And in restating commitments to ensure deeper financing for priority sectors, Governor Emefiele affirmed the prospects are bright for the economy with effective collaboration between fiscal and monetary authorities.
What is important here is that this decision has been taken because we felt that there may continue in the next couple of months to be an aggressive acceleration in inflation. And we think there is a need to take some drastic action to reverse it. If we're able to see a reversal, perhaps we can begin to say, yeah, we're returning to what we can call the normal period when we're looking at moderating, using CRR to moderate inflation, and at the same time using our development finance to really push for growth.
The decisions reached at the meeting signify an increase in lending rates as rising money demand pressure may linger till the 2023 elections. In Abuja, Leah Katimbabatunde, NTA News.
Now to tech matters. The complete transition from analog to digital in the operations of the Nigerian Mining Cadastre Office, an agency under the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, has greatly reduced corruption within the system, as acknowledged by the federal government. The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamilekon Adebiti, stated this in Abuja while receiving an award from the Nigeria Internet Registration Association given to the Mining Cadastre Office as the most innovative organization in federal government using internet technology.
MCO online, real time. This is a giant leap for the sector. We've had quantum leap from the revenue generated by MCO from the years that I've been in charge to the last 2021 that was reported last. We've had quantum leap, at times doubling the revenue of the previous year in the next year.
Very soon, we will have all our processes automated in the use of mines and steel development to also improve transparency and to improve the workflow. A couple of months ago, I think we received notification from ICPC to the activity that our transparency index in this ministry has improved from 56% in 2020 to 76% in 2021.
But we strive to be able to now position MCO to the level that it's for best international practice, whereby we will continue to work.
The minister notes the feat was achieved due to prudent management of resources in improving the sector. And still on tech matters, experts at the Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction say technological innovations can contribute to comprehensive, accurate and timely forecast and early warning systems, and see investment by government as necessary for maximizing the opportunities in disaster-reducing technology. Onengie Fanface reports.
Disaster and climate change-induced events have had significant economic and social impacts on developing countries, leading to many casualties, destruction of infrastructure, displacement and loss of livelihoods. Hazard forecasting and early warnings are crucial elements in understanding and managing disaster risks. Scientists at the 7th session of the United Nations Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction agree that innovations in technology for forecasting will contribute to reducing disaster risks in the most vulnerable communities.
Say 20, 30 years ago, a weather forecaster would issue a weather forecast or issue a warning and his job was done, or their job was done. Now we want to make sure that that forecast reaches the last mile, that it reaches the most remote populations, no matter where you're located in the world.
Innovations are needed to improve on early warnings against hazards and raise the level of awareness of the population about perception and reaction to the warnings.
Ultimately, there has to be a model which is more connected to local systems, local financing, and the avoided damage and loss and the local value. So we're trying to improve that model.
Advancements in the technology of observation and data management also serve as opportunity for developing countries to improve on their scientific and economic development to better reduce disaster risks. In Bali, Indonesia, Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
And on the health scene, the World Health Organization says there have been more than 130 confirmed monkeypox cases and 106 suspected cases since the first outbreak was reported on May 7 outside the countries where it usually spreads. The WHO notes that while the outbreak is unusual, it remains containable and limited. It, however, says it is convening further meetings to support member states with more advice on how to tackle the situation. Sylvie Bryan, the WHO Director for Global Infectious Hazard Preparedness, is encouraging member countries to increase their surveillance of monkeypox to see where transmission levels are and understand where it is going. Monkeypox is a mild viral infection which is usually endemic in parts of West and Central Africa. It spreads chiefly through close contact, and until the recent outbreak has only rarely been seen in other parts of the world. The majority of recent cases have been reported in Europe. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Agriculture is partnering the Veterinary Teaching Hospital to curb cases of monkeypox and other zoonotic diseases. To this end, the ministry has distributed medical and laboratory equipment to state-owned and university laboratories. Musa Aliu reports.
In recent times, monkeypox has been a major health concern around the world. Between 13th and 21st of May 2022, the World Health Organization recorded 92 cases from 11 non-endemic countries. Nigeria is yet to establish a case in recent times.
We have an interdisciplinary approach in which the veterinarian, the human doctors, environmentalists, agriculturists, epidemiologists, we are all working together. We have repository materials that we are building in Ibadan where you keep samples, so collecting samples from wildlife, because the monkeypox itself have some intermediary wildlife that are reservoirs, so all those are being collected.
The Chief Veterinary Officer of the Federation says veterinary officers have been alerted on the disease. This medical equipment distributed by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture is part of strategy to strengthen veterinary hospitals in the country.
The animal health, human health is based on science. And what does that mean? That we need laboratory confirmation for anything we do. So most of these items are for analysis or control of animal disease. So it's useful.
The ministry hopes that the equipment would assist states and veterinary teaching hospitals provide quality animal health care services as well as prevent and control the spread of zoonotic diseases. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Still on health, European Union countries are strengthening their partnership with Nigeria by making the country a hub for local production of vaccines with assurance of support to improve health systems. The ambassador of Spain to Nigeria made this known during the handover of more than 4 million doses of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines donated by Spain to Nigeria at the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency in Abuja. Oluseyi Adiabo reports.
32 billion people are said to lack access to essential medicine, and Africa currently imports over 99% of vaccines and 94% of the medicines it uses. International Partnership on Healthcare Delivery has since been committed to promoting local manufacturing of essential medicines and vaccines with more concentrations now on the continent of Africa. This commitment re-echoes at the presentation of the 4,400,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines to Nigeria as European Union member countries, and the WHO reaffirmed partnership to assist Nigeria in achieving its quest of local vaccine production.
Spain is also co-leading the effort line on the framework on the Global Action Plan. We have committed 300 million euros for further donations and projects to strengthen public health systems.
We would like all Nigerians to know that COVID-19 vaccines are available, they are free, and they are effective. Vaccines don't save lives. Vaccination saves lives.
These key players in Nigeria's response to COVID-19 advise those yet to be vaccinated or not fully vaccinated to take advantage of the sufficient COVID-19 vaccines in the country and get vaccinated. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Let's now join Adiola in our Lagos Network Center for more on Nationwide.
Najatu. The federal government is committed to its ease of doing business policy. This is evident in its quest to secure the economic zones across the country with the introduction of a special economic zones security. Kendi Adebisi reports.
In the wake of the NSAS protest, destruction of properties and investment across the country was said to be unquantifiable. The free trade zone areas were not spared by hoodlums who disguised under the protest to lay in. This wanton destruction raised concerns among investors who clamored for a special economic zone security apparatus whose sole responsibility is to ensure security of businesses and other investment in all economic zones in the country.
An investor looks for when trying to come into a free zone is security of his property, and of his investment. So when they see this, definitely they will be so happy. And my members who are apprehensive before are now assured. The investors are very happy. They have had a lot of feedback from them and they are very expectant. Government has also been very, very forthcoming with the resources to ensure that we have a vibrant unit that has been given to us.
Interagency collaboration is yielding positive results as this special economic zone security is working closely with the Department of State Security to gather intelligence, analyze, and prefer solutions to economic threats.
And the intelligence that will protect your facilities and your environment. For the country, you should always look out for those things. People that will pose a threat to you, to the facilities of your agencies or your establishment, and the general interest of Nigeria.
This initiative, backed by the Nigerian Export Processing Zone Authority Act, will provide well-designed security architecture in line with international best practices and in turn attract more investors to the country. In Lagos, Kendi Adebisi, NTA News.
In the same vein, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, says the Nigerian Army will create platforms to harness the experience and expertise of its personnel even after the official disengagement from the force. The Army Chief, who spoke at a regimental dinner organized by the 81 Division in honor of retired officers, described the experience earned during several tours of duty as a needed leverage against insecurity in the country. Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
The Regimental Dinner Night is a platform created by the Chief of Army Staff to honor the sacrifice and contributions of retired Army officers in the defense of the nation. And consistent with military tradition, the ceremony showcased the best of military fanfare and regimentation. The 13 heroes of the day are these Army officers from the rank of Colonel and below who disengaged from service in 2021 after several tours of duty. While expressing the gratitude of the nation to them for their meritorious service, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, wants them to set new goals for themselves and explore available platforms to lend their support in the ongoing fight against insecurity.
We still have some of them we employ as consultants so that we use their experiences to teach the younger ones coming. By so doing, if they contribute meaningfully, we are likely to achieve what we need to do to achieve to defend Nigeria.
For the retired officers, the Chief of Army Staff has laid an inspiring landmark with the ceremony.
we are equal to the task. Going to National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, we are available towards anything that has to do with nation building and keeping the peace.
The high point of the ceremony is the loyal toast, where officers renewed their pledge of allegiance to the Commander-in-Chief. In Lagos, Adini Itaiwo, NTA News.
We're done from Lagos, but do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/alllive and on all other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Nationwide will continue with Zinreth in just after this timeout. To stay with us.
Thanks for staying with us on Nationwide. The Vice President and All Progressives Congress presidential aspirant, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says he is committed to the Nigerian project and will consolidate on the socio-economic development of the nation if successful at the polls. He stated this in Jos in continuation of his nationwide consultation ahead of the APC primaries. Ndenyang and Abuja has details.
Jos, the Plateau State capital, was agog as people from all walks of life converged on the government house to receive the Vice President and APC presidential hopeful, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, in support of his aspiration. The delegates, whom he has come to consult and seek their support, were on hand and eagerly waiting to hear of his plans if elected. The Vice President met with the delegates behind closed doors for over 2 hours, where he intimated them of his resolve to ensure the unity of the nation.
We had an opportunity to share ideas about the economy, about security, about healthcare, education, and a wide range of issues. I was very, very helpful indeed. I think we're all better able to understand some of the issues that are prevalent and some of the issues going forward, what is required to make our country greater, more secure, more prosperous. So I think it's been a very healthy and very happy engagement. And as you could see from the delegates in there, everyone was very happy. I'm happy too.
The Vice President urged the people to remain supportive of government's policies and programs. Earlier, he had called on Angom Jos, His Royal Majesty Da Jacob Giang Buba, to solicit his royal blessings. In Jos, Ndenyang and the Abuja, NTA News.
Governor Simon Lalong is calling for the mopping up of small and light weapons in the hands of non-state actors in view of security threats across the country. The governor was speaking at the opening of the Nigerian Army Small Arms Competition holding at the 3-Division Small Arms Range, Miango, Plateau State. Priscilla Gumnan reports.
8 divisions within the formations of the Nigerian Army, including the Nigerian Army Headquarters Garrison Abuja, are participating in the Small Arms Championship holding in Jos, Plateau State. Governor Simon Lalong, who declares the championship open, commends the Nigerian Army for its immense contribution to enhancing national security architecture.
Let me also use this opportunity to request that the Nigerian Army and indeed the security agencies in the country do more to ensure that arms are taken away from non-state actors.
His administration, the governor says, has devoted enormous resources to strengthen capacity of community and traditional systems of security towards complementing the conventional security outfits in the sustenance of peace and security in the state. Chief of Army Staff represented says the training affords members of the Nigerian Army to brace up to the challenge of tackling insecurity confronting the nation and other territorial security threats.
This championship affords us that platform for us to hone our skills, to develop new skill sets, so that we'll be able to tackle whatever challenges that our troops are facing out there in the field.
In Jos, Priscilla Gumnan, NTA News.
That's our contribution to Nationwide. The news continues with Najato in Abuja.
Thank you, Zenret. The All Progressives Congress has approved a revised timetable and schedule of activities for the governorship, State House of Assembly, Senate, and House of Representatives primary elections. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Felix Moka, says governorship and state houses of assembly primary elections, as well as state and local government delegates elections, will hold on Thursday, 26th May 2022. Senate primary election will hold on Friday, 27th May 2022, and House of Representatives will hold on Saturday, 28th May 2022. Meanwhile, the special convention for the presidential primary will hold as scheduled on Sunday, 29th and Monday, 30th May 2022. A constitutional lawyer, Festus Oguche, says the current practice of imposing high fees for purchase of nomination forms by political parties is in conflict with the provisions of Section 84 of the Electoral Act, which states that political parties shall not impose any other condition for political participation. Discussing eligibility for elections on Good Morning Nigeria, Mr. Oguche described the practice as a hindrance to participatory democracy, as a huge segment of the Nigerian population is excluded from participating in elections and contesting for elective positions. Ekimini Williams reports.
It shouldn't be somebody adjudged to be of mental infirmity. Apart from that, you shouldn't be somebody who is adjudged bankrupt. You should be somebody equally that has never faced charges of treason.
If a party should present somebody who's not a Nigerian citizen, for example, I say, I'm not a Nigerian citizen, I'm a Ghanaian, but I came to Nigeria, that by default, or I'm 17 years old, I don't meet the criteria. Should INEC fold his arms, shut his eyes? That's what a lot of people seem to be saying. It sounds ridiculous, but that's the way it is. That until you go to court and get a court pronouncement, you cannot, and that surely cannot be the spirit behind the letter. Everybody should give effect to the Constitution. That's our constitutional provision.
Guests with mixed political and legal background discussing the statutory requirements for eligibility in elections, which includes being a Nigerian, possessing a minimum school certificate qualification, and never being convicted. However, they noted that in spite of the noble objectives that informed these requirements, the penchant of political parties to introduce less salary requirements usually produces deficient leaders.
Yes, political parties have their own conditions, but they are not outside the law. They are in the fulfillment of intent of the provisions of the Constitution. Like if you say somebody must meet his dues to a party, that's nothing wrong.
That's totally, completely outside the provisions of the Constitution. It's an attack on political democracy. The provisions of the Electoral Act at Section 84 clearly states that a party shall not impose any other term or any condition or any measure or criteria for political participation. And it goes contrary to the provisions of Section 224 and Chapter 2 relating to the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy.
The discussants called for a more transparent process of screening candidates, as this will ultimately determine the quality of leadership produced by the country. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
9 months to the 2023 general elections, civil society organizations are worried about pockets of security challenges being experienced in parts of the country. They are therefore urging the federal government to act fast to ensure the conduct of the elections under a peaceful atmosphere.
Says the clock, 2023 fast approaching, and INEC busy setting the stage for the much anticipated elections. While political parties are focused on primaries, the security bottleneck the nation is facing informed this gathering of civil society organizations, security agencies, and relevant stakeholders to ensure a safe and secure environment for the forthcoming elections.
I stand here on behalf of all Nigerian women to cry over our youths that are being used always as thugs. Nigerian women say no to all forms of thuggery.
We need to have a country first before you can go ahead to canvass for votes, conduct elections, or win elections. Therefore, the safety, the security, aspect and component of our survival or our life is very central to our consideration. We would like to reiterate our commitment to democratic Nigeria. Anybody who thinks he will rig 2023 election is a missing person. He has gone on a wall. So he better re-strategize and key in to do the right thing.
Safeguarding elections from foreign interference was another key area the conference seeks to address.
There is no foreign country that comes at you or has an impact on your election that is not self-driven. Whatever they push you to do is for their selfish interest, not for your good. So please let us understand that Nigeria is for us and for us first before we allow any form of interference.
This engagement hopes to provide possible solutions to the security threats and other challenges that could hamper the 2023 elections.
As the political space gets busier ahead of 2023 general elections, more aspirants are declaring their interest to run for political seats in the country. Dr. John Abraham Godson is the latest to join the race for Abia Central Senatorial seat under the platform of the Africa Democratic Congress ADC. Linda Okorie-Igwe reports.
A legislator who served as the first black member of parliament in Poland, Dr. John Abraham Godson is bringing his wealth of experience to make positive impact on the lives of people in Abia Central Senatorial District as he picks his nomination form. He says he is joining the race to improve on the law-making process in the country, as well as ensure quality representation for his people at the Senate.
People want change. When they see what is happening in other states, this is going to be about credibility. People who are going to deliver.
Security, employment, boosting agriculture, as well as attracting investors are his areas of priority as he promises to partner relevant agencies to achieve this if elected. He urges Nigerians in diaspora to join politics and help in transforming the nation. In Abuja, Linda Okorie-Igwe, NTA.
Meanwhile, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has dissolved the State Executive Council with effect from Tuesday, May 24, 2022. In a statement by the Special Assistant on Media to the Rivers State Governor, Kelvin Ebiri, the Chief of Staff to the Governor and Senior Special Assistant on Protocol have also been relieved of their duties. Governor Nyesom Wike commends members of the Rivers State Executive Council for their service and contribution to the development of the state and has instructed all the former members of the State Executive Council to hand over to the most senior officers in their respective ministries. The role of the media in ensuring good governance is still a major subject of discourse, with another round of the debate surfacing at the 6th anniversary of the Presidential Diary magazine in Abuja. Abdul Malik Hassan reports.
We cannot have good governance without having democracy. The moment shared with intellectuals may be of different ideology, but here for shared values of what democracy and good governance entail.
Free press is the ultimate, very, very cherished, and the purpose of a free press, a socially responsible one, is to attain democracy.
6 years of telling the untold stories through its monthly publications, the Presidential Diary magazine is celebrated with the concept of detailing the role of media in influencing the electorate.
Political decisions that affect people on a day-to-day basis. But of course, you also have media that is dedicated to helping to showcase and amplify and disseminate information about the policies of the government of the day. This presidential diary will last beyond the Buhari administration. It is not
not partisan. It is just interested in good governance and to support and encourage that kind of governance. That is what we need in this country. We need to support those who are laboring for the country.
The moment was used to unveil the latest edition of the manual entitled 6 Years of Communicating Good Governance, while awards were presented to a selected few for their role in achieving success of the diary. In Abuja, Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
The onset of politicking related to the 2023 elections is affecting many sectors of the Nigerian society, including the judiciary. To ensure that the sector maintains its independence, stakeholders in the sector have resolved to continue to promote the best practices of the legal profession. This came up at a valedictory court session held for Justice Ejimbi Eku upon his bowing out of the Supreme Court bench. Olabode Arewa reports.
The plight of judicial officers who retire from various state high courts, Sharia courts of appeal, customary courts of appeal, their gratuities and pensions due to current expenditure should be borne available to them by NTA, not the state government.
Those were some parting words from Ejimbi Eku, Justice of the Supreme Court, as he takes a bow from the bench, where he served for 33 out of his 45 years as a legal practitioner. This valedictory court session served as a farewell to a man described as a courageous jurist with robust intellect, evidenced in his mastery of the law.
This is not just a valedictory session, but a celebration of a quintessential judicial officer.
The accolades over, it was time for stakeholders in the sector to x-ray some issues affecting the quick dispensation of justice and the need for further judicial reforms.
The executive will continue to support the judiciary in developing its capacities, particularly in modern technologies and other necessities.
If you have an independent, strong judiciary, a country or nation can survive.
Called to the Nigerian bar in 1977, Justice Eko's foray into the judiciary has been diverse and eventful, culminating in his elevation to the Apex Court in 2016. From the Supreme Court, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
It's time now to join our Ibadan Network Center, where Kemi is standing by. Hello, Kemi.
Hello, Najatu, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Oyo State joins other party faithful across the country to elect candidates of the party for the State House of Assembly and National Assembly seats. Ayomiku Ajibola, who monitored the activities within Ibadan Metropolis, now reports.
In line with the directive of the National Working Committee, NEC, of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, states across the country conduct their State House of Assembly primaries on May 22nd, same day as the House of Representatives primary, and 23rd for senatorial. A visit to some centers of the exercise in Ibadan Southeast Local Government, Ibadan Northeast Local Government, and Lagelu Local Government reveals that mixed reactions through the primary election.
This is primaries. Why are they coming with so many talks, with charms, with ammunitions? I actually had one of them threatening to order one of the security personnel to shoot at people that they don't or they feel will probably disturb what they've already predetermined before coming to the venue. We have to be magnanimous in victory. There's no winner and there's no loser. We should expect a different representation in the National Assembly. It's been largely peaceful and in line with the provision of the Electoral Act.
The INEC official who monitored the exercise both at Ibadan Southeast and Ibadan Northeast has this to say.
Miracle started at the point when they said they should call the name of the aspirant. They refused.
She charged delegates and other critical stakeholders of the party to embrace peace and tranquility as they elect those who will represent the party in the forthcoming elections. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Meanwhile, accuracy on weight and measurement of goods and services is a way to minimize short-changing members of the public. This was the subject of discourse at a forum by the Department of Weight and Measures, Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment in Ibadan. Kayode Oladoshu has the details.
From time immemorial, weight and measures of commodity has been a critical issue for consumers of goods and services to have accurate value for their money. Against this background, the World Metrology Day was set aside a framework for global collaboration in the science of measurement and its industrial, commercial, and societal applications based on standardized measurement such as dead weight, seraphim measures, platform scale, conical flask, indigenous measure, among others.
Whatever you pay for in terms of weighing and measurements must be accurate. It must equally be legal.
Citing the theme of the celebration, Metrology in Digital Era, Minister of Trade and Investment Otumba Adeniyi Adebayo represented urged stakeholders on accuracy in weight and measurement of goods.
The application of digital economic technology in the provision of reliable digital transformation. This requires the efforts and cooperation of all stakeholders in the metrology community.
Established by Weight and Measures Act of 1960 and listed as item 65 on the exclusive list in the 1999 Constitution as amended, the department is to ensure that all transactions involve measurement are accurate, fair, and legal. In Ibadan, Kayode Oladoshu, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. More reports on Nationwide as we join Salamatu in Kaduna after the break. Do stay with us.
On Nationwide, thanks for joining us. Reconstruction work has commenced on the collapsed Samia Bridge in Birnin Kudu, Jigawa State, along Old Kano to Maiduguri Federal Highway. Motorists and communities along the highway enthused and calling for speedy completion of the project for the strategic importance of the road. Ibrahim Bello tells us more.
That Samia Bridge along Old Kano Maiduguri Federal Highway was damaged by heavy rainstorm leading to its closure in August 2021.
Contractors have mobilized the site as work on the reconstruction of Samia Bridge along the momentum with farmers and motorists being concerned or worried about the economic loss that the
My point is to hasten the completion of the bridge because of its commercial importance. We are happy work has started. We use alternative routes, which increase transport fare and affect agriculture. Motorists will use Birnin Kudu Dusa routes during rainy season.
Jigawa State Federal Controller of Works, Atewola Gabriel, says they will ensure qualitative work while reconstructing the bridge to stand the test of time. The highway links northwestern region with northeastern part of the country, as well as Cameroon, Chad, and Niger republics. From Dutse, Ibrahim Bello, NTA News.
Away from infrastructure, agricultural scientists have produced genetically modified maize, which is pest and drought resistance. The research finding is part of efforts to assist farmers in semi-arid area zone to produce quality maize in drought-prone areas. Hadiza Ali reports.
The research work is a collaboration between the Institute of Agricultural Research, Ahmadu Bello Zaria, and the African Agricultural Technology Foundation, will address losses and improve economic fortunes of farmers. Popularizing the research findings by agricultural experts is what brought these farmers to Minjibir local government area of Kano State.
We accepted it, and we are always calling our farmers to be listening to what is going on, to see that we have changed our farming system from local farming to a business farming.
The improved maize variety developed resistance insect pests such as stem borer and armyworm, which affects yields. Researchers have been conducting a series of trials 4 years ago.
The Teller maize is highly improved maize variety, bred to tolerate moderate drought and resist fall armyworm and stem borers, and they could
guarantee reliable harvest for farmers.
Institute of Agricultural Research believes that the findings will go a long way in addressing farmers' losses.
It is government policy that motivated our farmers to continue to imbibe and adopt new technology and produce more and more, because they have been adequately shielded against unnecessary competition against international predators.
7 African countries are expected to take advantage of this scientific breakthrough and will help in sufficiency in food production, which will promote food security. The introduction of tailor maize will eliminate application of pesticides, which will guarantee safer and healthy environment. In Kano, Hadiza Ali, NTA News.
That is it on our package. From here back to Nigeria for the continuation of Nationwide. Good evening.
Good evening and welcome back to our Abuja studios. Meeting Sustainable Development Goal 3, Target 5, which aims at strengthening prevention and treatment of substance abuse before 2030, is becoming feasible as the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency are joining forces to rehabilitate and equip drug victims with life-changing tools ahead of reintegration. Elizabeth Omori reports.
A World Report on Drugs by United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime reveals that in 2021, 1.4 million people used drugs in Nigeria. This prevalence highlights the need to close the gap between perception and reality in educating young people and safeguarding public health. The report also indicates that there are 11 million users of cannabis sativa in Nigeria. To deepen conversations and free the society from the clutches of hard drugs, informed the partnership with the aim to equip young Nigerians with skills for self-sustenance.
We need to ensure that our treating programs are effective to help those that are already in cycle of drug abuse by giving them self-confidence and strengthening skills, abilities to say no to drugs.
The NDLEA insists effective sensitization at all levels of child development must be reinforced to rid the nation of the negative effects of drug abuse.
Consequently, the agency plans to build model rehabilitation centers in some states of the federation for the treatment and reintegration of drug users to live and contribute their quota to the development of this country.
Catering, barbing, and computer education were some of the benefits awarded to the youngsters at the NDLEA Rehabilitation Center, with an assurance of more tools from the NPOWER initiative. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Up next is Sports Update.